So the question is, why would General Motors commit suicide? Essentially, why would it put itself out of business? And General Motors, back in the 50s, was the world's largest industrial corporation. They said, what's good for General Motors is good for America, and vice versa, because it was so embedded in American life. Yet now, General Motors is virtually irrelevant. It has worked itself down to a situation where it has a market value that is puny and pathetic compared to Honda or Toyota or even Daimler-Benz. You could buy all of GM if it were for sale for less than $18 billion. But it's not for sale. It's held securely by a number of funds. And if you tried, like Kirk Kerkorian, to buy General Motors, you would run into the fact that you really can't buy it. The funds won't sell. And those funds, if you look at what they hold a lot more money in oil stocks. They hold billions of dollars in oil stocks, hundreds of billions, whereas all of General Motors is only worth $18 billion. So if they have, let's say, $200 billion in oil stocks and $400 million in General Motors stock, do you think that they would imperil their oil stocks by allowing General Motors to build an electric car? So that's why the mysterious board decision to destroy the EV1 isn't very mysterious at all. The board had the votes to require Wagner to kill the EV1 and crush it, and not let one of them exist. I mean, it isn't that they took it off the road or they stopped making it. They confiscated each and every one of them. They paid money to crush them. They wouldn't sell them to customers who waited in the rain, who even got arrested to trying to buy one, trying to give General Motors $25,000 per car. And so if they had left those on the street and people could see gas-free cars zooming around, the EV1 was fun to drive. You know, even back when gas was $1 a gallon, people noticed it and asked about it. But now, if those things were flashing all over the place, there would be a huge outcry. Everybody would want one. And so to raise the price of gas above $2 a gallon and above $3 a gallon, it was necessary first to confiscate and crush all of the EV1 cars. And that's the only explanation that seems to make sense. You know, why would they spend up to $800, maybe $1,000 to carry each one of these EV1 cars out to Mesa, Arizona, pay people to strip the tires off and the batteries, which then were shredded, and then subject them to an 18-inch crush, then truck them back to Fontana where they were shredded and then fed into the smelter. Now, out of that, you don't get a lot of used parts. You know, all you're getting is the value of the dross, the iron parts of the metal and the parts of the metal that can be retrieved by furnace-type methods. You're basically melting the car down for weight. And so they didn't recoup that $1,000 that they spent hauling it out to Mesa, Arizona, or whatever it was. And why would they do that rather than selling these cars, which we would have bought them under a salvage title, meaning that GM had absolutely no liability whatsoever? They said, well, we couldn't do that because we might besmirch General Motors' good reputation for quality. You know, give me a break. General Motors' quality control was said to be, you know, put it out on the street and if nobody complains, you know, it's not a quality issue.